Oh, hey y'all, how's it going? Fatty here, and today I'm bringing you the top 5 best underwater base locations on the new map, Lost Island. Now, I did a poll yesterday asking if you guys wanted a PvP or hidden base. You guys chose hidden base, and then I also asked you this morning which map you wanted to see, and that's what you guys chose. I always like to kind of post these polls, so if you guys haven't seen these before, or you guys like my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Participate in the polls and help kind of form the content, and let's not waste any more of your time and jump straight into it. Coming in at number 5, this one's going to be located at 25.5, 14.3. Now, there's not a lot of great landmarks I can give you that it's above the water. As you can see, there's Wilson's Island way back there in the background. You're at the top northwest part of the map, but once you do go under the water, it gets a little bit easier. There is this land bridge, which is going to be your number 1 landmark that you're going to really look for. I keep the coordinates on screen so you can kind of follow along if you're kind of lost, but from there, you're going to see this little split in the tunnel where you can kind of go 2 different ways. This is going to be the start where you want to go. So one side is going to lead to the cave, and the other side is going to lead to this little breeding area is what I'm going to call it. It's definitely big enough. You probably could get a couple Tusos in here. If you're breeding carbs, this would be another great spot to kind of toss those out so you're not taking too much room in your main base. But yeah, that's a pretty decent underwater area there. Then you're going to come up here, and it's a really tight tunnel, which is going to make it hard for people to raid. You can definitely put some defenses up in there. And here's the coordinates, 26.3, 13.1 for the actual breach entrance of it. Now, I call this one the Mushroom Cave just because of obvious reasons. There are all these aberrant mushrooms in here. They are definitely harvestable. They're not going to give you fungal wood or anything like that. They're kind of more of the aberration mushrooms that just give you, like, you know, those basic kind of things. But I really love the aesthetics in this cave. It is definitely a great spot for PvP. You can definitely put a good death wall there. Enough room to breed, have a great crafting station, everything like that. And it just looks really cool. I love mushrooms. It just gives it that really cool vibe. You got a lot of purple light in here as well. It is going to be one of the bigger spots on this list, but there are a couple caves and different base locations really close to this one. That's why it kind of is on the number 5 spot on this list. Coming in at number 4, this one's going to be located at 21.8, 17.8. Now, this one is very close to the last one I just showed you. Not so close that you're like exact neighbors, but it is the closest underwater cave that I could find to this one. And this one, again, is a little bit more tricky to find. You just kind of have to go straight down from where I showed you, and you're going to see the square cutout. That's the best landmark I could really find for you guys. There's not a lot of indent areas on here, so if you find that one, it's going to be the spot you need to go to. So you got this little entrance kind of out front, and you got this really tight squeeze to get to the breach. You can fit a stego in there from when I did my testing. It's not easy, but you can. So this one makes it a little bit easier to raid because stegos are just like the main meta how people raid right now. But this one's pretty cool. It's got some nice coloration to it. It's not huge, but you can definitely put a couple like cliff plats and different stuff up there to kind of expand out the base like size of it for yourself. So you can definitely breed like bloodstalkers, stegos, carbs, pretty much the main things people really breed with, maybe a couple manas on top of those as well. But it's a decent spot. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's still pretty hidden, which makes it a pretty nice spot. And there's a lot of these little underwater caves. The entrance right there, as you see the coordinates, so you can kind of find the breach a little bit better. I usually just flash the above spots because that's where people normally start looking. But yeah, let's move on to the number 3. Coming in at number 3, this one's going to be located at 46.3, 27.2. Now, this one is a little bit easier to find. It's kind of in the middle of the western side a bit, kind of next to all these islands. But the kind of nice thing about this is when you go underwater, this is a whole really shallow area. And there's only this like one spot kind of around here where it really dips down. It makes it nice to really find for like people who are looking to build in this base location, but also does make it stand out a little bit more because it is one of the few spots where people can go. Now back in here you have a black pearl spawn. You can also use this as a nice little breeding area, or if you want to get some vacuum chambers to do something like that. But again, big enough for Tusos, carbs, stuff like that can just be kind of underwater. Then you kind of come to this other side, and it's going to be a really nice one. This is one of the tighter squeezes to actually get to a base location, and it's just a lot of rocks, a lot of kind of tight turns, and it's pretty long. This one makes it just really difficult to raid. It just is a really nice base location for that reason. And then when you get inside, it is not the biggest one on this list, but it is a decent size where you can kind of do everything you need to do. Big enough to fit a couple gigas, manas, bloodstalkers, stegos, all that for breeding, and big enough to have a really nice crafting station. There are black pearls in here. I usually don't care about the resources in a base location because you're not going to be able to harvest them after like the first time you're here, except for that little back spot where I first showed you that breeding area. But this spot is really cool. It's kind of not super linear like the other ones. A lot of them just are like a big circle. This one's a little bit more unique than that, which I always appreciate, something a little bit different than just like the classic island pearl cave, which a lot of these kind of are classic island pearl cave style. But again, it's really nice. It's nice to have another map that has all these underwater base locations that are actually pretty not rateable. Coming in at number 2, this one's going to be located at 41.9, 18.3. Now this one is a pretty nice location. It's not too far from number 3. It's kind of on the outskirts, like right at the edge of some of these islands. Again, this one's a little bit nicer on the list. It is a really good spot, but it's also not the easiest one to find. You have to go down pretty far, and there's not a lot of great landmarks. You got this little land bridge and this little part that sticks out right above it that I kind of look at twice here. That is going to be your best 2 landmarks to kind of find it. I like this one because when people scout, they usually look at the very, very bottom of, you know, the ocean to kind of try to find these ones. And this one's kind of on the cliff's edge. It's a little bit more tricky to find. The entrance is really nice. It's pretty straight and narrow, but it's not huge, but it's also not the biggest one. So I did not test to see if stegos could really fit through that one. It looked wide enough for a stego to fit, but it also has such a straight line of shot to it that I think if you have tech turrets, it's going to just kind of wreck the rider trying to get in there a little bit. This one's kind of cool. It's got kind of more of an oil cave vibe to me than a lot of these pearl caves do. I really like this middle spire. It's got a great lot of spaces to kind of hide a tech generator for you to kind of get going. It's just a really cool spot. I like it. Like I said, it's just not the easiest one to find on the list, which makes it just a little bit more unique. It does have this little spot that just hangs off like the only stalactite in this entire spot. It is great to put a cliff plat up there. I would use this as a couple internals just kind of hanging off behind your death wall a little bit. But it's also going to be nice for breeding. I always like to put cliff plats in spaces like this where you can just kind of throw up your bloodstalkers to have a nice little spot just to breed them. Stuff like that. You can also toss your toss your like carbs and stuff up here, something that's not too tall. So it makes it pretty nice. I like it a lot. And again, it's not super classic like the other pearl caves. And let's move on to that number 1 unrateable spot. Coming in at number 1, this one's going to be at 78.6, 33.4. Now, this one is definitely going to be the hardest one for people to get to. That's why I kind of put it so high up on the list, especially since Lost Island's still pretty new. Not a lot of people are going to be able to put like tech fobs down or anything like that. And this one is way, way down below. So if you're just trying to swim out to one of these base locations, this one is definitely not going to be the one for you because it is just so far down deep in this ocean. It's definitely the deepest part of any of the oceans that I've seen so far on Lost Island. So yeah, just throwing that out there. But like kind of one of the other ones, it has this like long tunnel, and this one is definitely quite a long one. So you're going to be able to put even some other turrets and stuff in here just to even block the beginning entrance of it. And then yeah, once you get inside, it's just a lot like the other ones. It's a pearl kind of style cave, but this one is definitely the biggest one out of all of them. You're going to see there's a lot of different kind of pearl spawns in here. Black pearls in the very back and some silica pearls kind of up a little bit closer. So the back ones are going to be kind of nice if you're early game and you actually just want to not build too far back. You're probably going to be leaving those spawns alive just so you can kind of keep gathering them and get ready to actually get down to replicator or anything like that. Other than that, yeah, it's just really long, big. You got these kind of cool crystals up top, so you get this really cool, like, nice green glow throughout the entire cave that you don't really see in a lot of the other ones. And then, yeah, you got this whole upper area like I was talking about before. You could definitely throw a cliff plat or something up there if you needed to as well, just to get that little bit of extra space. You know, going to do a 2-tier for like any breeding or anything. But yeah, you're going to be able to throw out anything that you need in here to get your breeding started. And it's just a really, really nice spot. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We are so close to 7K subs. So if you smash that, it would really help me out and the channel out a lot. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.